share with you tonight is shorter than usual. It's really more of a meditation than a full-on homily. And you might be relieved about that. I don't know. No hard feelings if you are. So, a new world has opened to me recently. I've long enjoyed finding vintage items on Facebook Marketplace. In fact, I think if you came to my house when we first moved in and I gave you a tour, it was a tour of the things I'd found on Facebook Marketplace, embarrassingly. But I've also just discovered that people sell plants on Facebook Marketplace. And I have been looking for a fig tree. Do I love to eat figs? No, I do not. But I'm curious about them. They can be kind of expensive through online nurseries, though. So when I saw them for sale on Facebook Marketplace for $20 a piece, I thought, well, that's an experiment worth trying. So I made plans to pick this fig tree up at this man's house in Illinois. And Steve agreed to go with me since I wasn't familiar with that part of Illinois where this stranger's house was. And we got in the car and off we went. And when we got there, this man showed me all the different kinds of figs he was growing. I've never grown figs before, and he answered all of the questions I could think of. He told me how to harden them off and how to transplant them and how to water them. And he said I couldn't kill it, but that if I did kill it, all I would have to do was call him and he would give me another one. He'd just give me one for free. And so then I asked about cutting them back and preparing them for winter, and he told me how to do it. And he said that if I couldn't remember how to do it when the time came, all I would have to do was call him and he would walk me through it again. He told me all about the kind of fig I had. Mine is a Chicago Hardy variety, which is suited to our growing zone. And it will make figs July through September. And he's testing out another variety of figs that's hopefully also suited to our growing zone. And when he knows for sure that it is, he will also let me know and I can come get one that will fruit in May and June. It was a real deep dive on figs. It was really lovely. We stood in his yard and then just talked for 20 minutes. And I picked out my fig tree and I paid him while he told me about his daughter insisting that he learn how to use Venmo. And then I got back in the car and we turned around to head home and I began to cry. And I might do it again now. And I couldn't explain why at the time, except that I was hungry in that moment. I was hungry for neighborliness and for small town kindness and for my own dad. I was hungry, and this stranger fed me. The disciples didn't recognize Jesus. When they met this stranger on the road, they didn't understand how anyone could have missed out on hearing about the terrible death and miraculous resurrection of their teacher and friend. They weren't even sure that that rumor was entirely true, right? They weren't sure that he was back. They told Jesus that after the women reported in, that their friends went to look for proof, but they still didn't see Jesus. And then in my imagination anyway, Jesus lovingly shakes his head and tells them that they're foolish and slow of heart. And then he tells them again, he repeats again, everything he has already told them about what the scriptures say of him. And even though they don't clock it until later in the evening after he's disappeared again, when they do clock it, they remember that even before they sat down to share a meal, they had felt the nourishing, loving, burning warmth of Jesus' presence. Sometimes life can feel heavy. It can feel like we're going through things that are isolating. We can be going through things that are isolating. Things we aren't sure other people will understand. Things that are too scary or hard to talk about and maybe don't even make sense to us. And then out of the blue, we find ourselves communing with another person, having neighborly conversation, maybe letting people in just a little bit, and our eyes are opened, and we see that Jesus has been there all along. And maybe it's only for a brief moment, but even in that fleeting glimpse, we are fed. we are sustained. I don't know what that looks like for you these days, but I pray that your eyes are being opened to the love that surrounds you always. I pray that your sincere hungers are being fed. I pray that you're giving grace to your own foolish, slow heart. May these prayers become true for you. May they become true for every person that you encounter. May they become true for all of our siblings around the world. May it be so. Amen.